In 2008, the world was horrified by one of the most shocking crimes in modern history. It was a story that seemed almost too disturbing to be real. A father who imprisoned his own daughter in a hidden cellar for 24 years. The case of Elisabeth Fritzl, from the small town of Amstetten, Austria, became a global symbol of cruelty, secrecy, and unimaginable suffering. Today, we'll take a closer look at the Fritzl case, the chilling background, how the crimes unfolded, how they finally came to light, and the lasting impact this tragedy left on the world. Elisabeth Fritzl was born in 1935 in Austria. Outwardly, he appeared like an ordinary man, an engineer, a husband, a father of 7 children, and a property owner. But beneath the surface, Fritzl harbored dark tendencies. In the 1970s and 1980s, Fritzl began constructing an elaborate underground cellar beneath his home. On paper, it was a basement renovation project. In reality, he was building a dungeon, soundproof, hidden behind multiple locked doors, designed for long-term confinement. His daughter, Elisabeth Fritzl, was born in 1966. By the time she reached her teenage years, Joseph's behavior toward her became increasingly controlling. He insisted she stay at home, discouraged friendships, and subjected her to strict rules. No one around her suspected what was coming. On August 28, 1984, 18-year-old Elisabeth Fritzl disappeared. Her parents reported her missing, and weeks later, Joseph claimed he had received a letter from her, stating that she had run away to join a cult. Authorities believed him. In truth, Joseph had lured Elisabeth into the cellar he had spent years preparing. He drugged her, dragged her into the underground bunker, and locked the heavy reinforced door behind her. She would not leave that cellar for the next 24 years. Over the years, Joseph repeatedly abused Elisabeth. She gave birth to 7 children, all fathered by her captor. 3 of them were raised underground with her. The others, Joseph brought upstairs as infants, leaving them on his doorstep and claiming Elisabeth had abandoned them. His wife, Rosemarie, raised these children without knowing their true origin. Conditions in the cellar were horrific. Elisabeth and her children lived in small, windowless rooms with no natural light. Their world consisted of concrete walls, a small kitchenette, a bathroom, and a few sleeping areas. The air was stale and ventilation was poor. For food, they relied entirely on what Joseph chose to bring down. Entertainment was limited to old videos and books. The children underground never saw the sun, never went to school, and never played outside. Elisabeth tried to create a sense of normalcy for her children, teaching them to read and write, even inventing games to pass the endless days. But the trauma was unavoidable. Imagine growing up with no concept of the outside world. Your entire reality confined to a hidden dungeon. The case finally broke open in April 2008. One of Elisabeth's children, 19-year-old Kirsten, fell seriously ill. Her condition was life-threatening, and Elisabeth begged Joseph to take her to a hospital. For the first time in 2 decades, Joseph allowed it. At the hospital, doctors were suspicious. Kirsten was malnourished, pale, and showed signs of having lived in total isolation. Authorities demanded answers. Joseph reluctantly brought Elisabeth and her remaining underground children upstairs, presenting her as if she had just returned after being missing for years. But Elisabeth, after decades of silence, told the truth. She revealed everything: her imprisonment, the abuse, the secret cellar, and the unimaginable ordeal she and her children had endured. Police raided the Fritzl home and discovered the hidden dungeon that shocked the entire world. Joseph Fritzl was arrested and charged with rape, incest, kidnapping, false imprisonment, and murder, after one of Elisabeth's infants had died shortly after birth due to lack of medical care. In March 2009, Fritzl stood trial. The evidence was overwhelming. After a brief proceeding, he was convicted and sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole for 15 years. He was transferred to a high-security psychiatric prison, where he remains to this day. Elisabeth and her children were moved to a safe, secret location to rebuild their lives. They have since lived under new identities, away from the public eye, receiving psychological treatment and support. The Fritzl case became one of the most infamous criminal cases in history, sparking international outrage. It raised difficult questions. How could Joseph conceal such crimes for so long? Why didn't authorities or neighbors suspect anything? And how do survivors rebuild after decades of captivity? Elisabeth's resilience has been praised worldwide. Despite enduring unimaginable trauma, she showed extraordinary strength in protecting and educating her children under horrific conditions. The Fritzl case remains a symbol of hidden abuse and a chilling reminder that evil can thrive in secrecy, even behind the walls of an ordinary family home. The story of Josef and Elisabeth Fritzl is one of the darkest in modern crime history. A father turned jailer, a daughter turned captive, and children forced to live in a nightmare world beneath the ground. Though justice was served, the case continues to haunt us, because it proves how fragile safety can be when abuse is hidden behind closed doors. What do you think about this case? Could something like this happen again, even in today's world? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you found this story important, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more deep dives into the world's most shocking true crime cases.